Oh, that's right. It's episode 64 of Rinkside. My favorite console number, 64, takes me back to them Super Smash Brothers days. And what a, crazy season it's been so far. Hume, how's it going? How were your holidays?
The holidays were great. Christmas, New Year's, always a fun time. Hanging out with friends and family, and probably drinking a little more than you should. but yeah, how were the holidays for you, buddy?
Yeah, man, they were good. I was in here in the Chicago area for New Year's and for Christmas in the suburbs. So it's been pretty good so far. And where did you go elsewhere? I know for Thanksgiving you came to Illinois. Were you in Missouri for the other ones?
No, yeah, I just stayed here for for Christmas and New Year's. 'Cause the way they fell, I didn't really get enough time off during the week to travel anywhere.
Yeah,
But it is what it is. At
yeah,
least I got the day off. A lot of people don't get that.
yeah. It is true. You got to count your blessings where they are. Let's talk about the blessings. Who has blessed us this season with a post season appearance? None other than these 16 teams listed here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to run through um, who is uh, who is going to win against who. But I guess before we started, did you have any perspective on the season that's gone down, Hume?
I thought it was, one of the better seasons that I can remember since I've been in goals. To be honest, I've said it before in a couple other episodes, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I was a little skeptical about the new playoff format at first. Having 16 out of the 20 teams make it. Um, but after this season, I'm gonna have to say that I think my initial impressions were wrong, because it just like it made the season go down to the wire,
Hmm.
which is always good. And I think every team that's in the playoffs deserves to be there. Just obviously because they were in a dogfight. The 6, 7, 8 seeds were fighting until the very last minute of the very last day to get in. So no, you could say that 18 out of the 20 teams deserve to be in the playoffs. So I think it's going to lend itself to some just awesome postseason action.
Awesome postseason action. And do you have a prediction who you think is going to win the cup this year?
I okay, like my heart tells me, this is the year Turku does it. This is the year we break through, and we win one for McGinley. But my head, I mean, they won the President's Trophy, I believe is what it's called, for most points in a season. Coming off a cup win last year, so logic says that if anybody in goals history is prime for a repeat, then it's Jacksonville. So that's my initial prediction is Jacksonville's going to repeat as goals champions.
Got one vote for using their head for Jacksonville. I'm going to vote with your heart. I'm giving this one up for McGinley. I think Turku, this is going to be their year that they take home the cup. So it looks like if you're in the Rocket Conference, that sucks for you because you're not going to be winning the cup. But if you're in Mr. Hockey and you're on Jacksonville or Turku, you've got 1 out of 2 chances here. So those are the best chances. Everybody else has 1 out of 16 chance of winning the playoffs. But these two, we have our picks here, and Jacksonville and
Which
Turku are going to take home the cup.
which naturally means congratulations, Alaska, on your season 8 cup.
Well, that's
Just to prove us completely wrong, the 8th seed from the other conference will get it.
yeah. Well, let's see what in the bout of Las Vegas versus Alaska. Who do you think's going to win?
I mean, I think Vegas is gonna win pretty, not necessarily easily, but I don't think it's gonna be too much in doubt. I like 4-1, 5 games would be my prediction. I think they're just the more consistent, the better team.
Hmm. Well, I've seen it before, and I've seen Alaska come back and reverse sweep like 2 times in a row. So I think that Alaska is going to be winning this series.
Yep, they got it in them for a reverse sweep. I would know. uh,
um, let's talk about Manitoba and Albuquerque. Who do you think's going down here?
I mean, 4 or 5 matchups in any sport are always rough to compare just by the very nature of they're the two closest, or seed wise and record wise, the two most evenly matched teams. Yeah, I like Manitoba to take it, but I think it's going to take all 7, and I wouldn't be surprised if it went into overtime in Game 7.
All right, so you got Manitoba in 7 games, and I'm going to go with Albuquerque in 5 games. No, no, 6 games. I think that Caboose is what he's got the juice. You know what I mean? I think he's going to bring it to the postseason and apply. They always have so many damn picks every year. So I think that they've been building their base, and this is the season they'll go past the first round.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if they've gone.
that's
Yeah, what do you
that's one
think?
of those matchups where it's like no matter how it shakes out, you could say that either team deserved to win. I think that's how it's going to play out.
Yeah. Well, how do you think it's going to play out with Honolulu and San Diego?
I actually like the underdog in this one. I think San Diego's going to pip them, but it's going to take them 6 games to do it.
6 games, San Diego. I like the odds of Honolulu here. I think that they're going to win in 4-1, and I think that because they made, or maybe that was Glasgow. I don't know. Both those teams took on some high cap players, some high impact players in this season. I think they're really gunning for it. So I'm going with Honolulu 4-1. What do you think about Tennessee and Columbus?
I think this is going to be just a fun matchup to watch because Tennessee, has an offense that can score on anybody. It's just the nature of hockey, especially playoff hockey. It's does that offense show up for the 4 games it takes you to win the series? But I like how Columbus has been playing this year. I got to give a lot of respect and hats off to their staff and ownership for building them up as quick as they did. Um, I think they're gonna win. Columbus will, but it's going to take 7 games because I think Tennessee's offense is just gonna outscore them in a couple and keep the series closer than it maybe should be.
Think that is what it probably will be. But if I had to get my money's worth, I really think Tennessee is going to be taking this one in 6 games. I think that, like you mentioned, they do have that, firepower in the offense. I think they're going to light up that old poor baby deer and serve up some venison. All right. All right. And then we've got Jacksonville versus Norfolk.
I, it's always risky and it always feels kind of harsh
Oh,
to
I
to
know what you're
predict
getting
this
at.
in the playoffs. But Jacksonville is just by far and away the best team. Like I think they're going to just be able to handle Norfolk easily.
I think so as well, but I'm going to give Sam credit, and I think they're going to get 1 game. And a blind
A
squirrel finds a
gentleman's
nut
sweep
every.
is sweep.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a goalie that they could steal a win or two from him. I don't know. Jacksonville is a juggernaut.
Right.
So
How's it going to go down against you guys in Copenhagen?
I really like our chances this year. Normally, it would terrify me to go up against Copenhagen in the playoffs because in seasons past they've just had our number. But if I remember right, from what Evan was saying the other day in the staff chat, I think we're like 2-1-1 against them this year, or 3-1. Like we've actually taken the season series from them for the first time, and if not forever, what seems like forever. So I think we're going to be able to ride that into the playoffs, and I think it'll take 6 games. Like they're going to get one or two. Like we're not going to sweep Copenhagen by any means. But I think we edge them. It's going to be just a hard fought series. I know that. Like Leathers and Rose always bring it in the playoffs.
Leathers and Rose always bringing it in the playoffs, and that is what I remember. And I think that what's going to make it even a sweeter victory is it's going to take you guys 7 games to get there. It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be a
I I hope for my blood pressure it doesn't. I'm tired of going 7 games in these playoffs. It seems like every year we go seven.
But I'm telling you, if you win in 7 games, I think it gives you a bump in like the playoff mode. I don't know. Like, don't tell me I didn't program the game, but I think if you want a shot at winning, got to go 7 games. All right. Then we've got Boston versus Rome, a 3 versus a 6. Who do you see here?
I think Boston takes this pretty handily. Lassinger is one of those goalies that can just shut down an entire team. You know, um, so I think they'll get it in 5. I think Rome will pip one from them, but I think they dispatch Rome pretty easily.
I think they dispatch Rome pretty easily. Rome is one of the teams, with Triple H building up a number of big, you know, uh, talent pools. But I gotta agree with you here. I'm aligned with you. I think they're gonna get 1 game away from them, and then Boston's gonna get the rest. But then it comes to Florence and Glasgow. Who do you think's coming out ahead on this one?
Yeah, I gotta go Florence. They've consistently one of the top 2, 3 teams this season. Glasgow's not a slouch. They've got a great goalkeeper that's capable of frustrating a team for an entire game too. But Florence, I think, just has more firepower behind them, and their defense is just as solid as you could hope for. So I think they'll get it. I think it takes them 6 games though. I think Glasgow will take at least 2 from them, but Florence will come out ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was gonna do 4 and 2, but I've already agreed with you on the last one. So um, I don't mean any disrespect to Glasgow. I think it's just a tough matchup. Although I do want to pick, one upset in, the Mr. Hockey Conference, but honestly, I do think Florence is going to beat them. But I do think Glasgow put forward a really competitive program. It's just a really unfortunate matchup. I would be most afraid of playing against Florence. We did beat Jacksonville, but I don't know. To us, like we always lost like to Florence. They were like blowouts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more afraid of Jacksonville. As far as Turku goes, because I think we kind of went back and forth, punch for punch when we played Florence this year, but Jacksonville is just a buzz saw.
Buzzsaw. Well, those are our predictions. So let's take a minute to turn to the transactions that went down. We had the Rhinos signing Jason Krantz, the Magic signing Wayne Crosby, the Beast signed Abrick Magic, and then the Beast releasing Abrick Magic as a right wing, then signing Abrick Magic as a left D to the Berlin Bulls. Sabretooths took on Sam Casillas, whereas the Beast took Robbie Arver. And the Hawks signed Pyro Kirkpatrick, while the Stags took Garushka Sorokina. Coming to the Stags. Great to see a lot of growth in the league. Let's talk about our closing stats that you know hold us in this year.
Yeah, we'll lead off with goals. Cornwall leading the league with 27. So congratulations to him for being the goals leader for this season. Um, Ray Bob Diddle, 2 behind him for the silver with 25. Then we got a tie for bronze between Amelia Rose and Matt Green. So unfortunately, I think he's got his second player in the pipeline. So naturally the game will make him have his career year right before he retires because that's how it always works out. But hats off to those guys. Taking the gold, silver, bronze. Adam Banks and Racer X. tied for fifth with 23 apiece. Nordstrom and Outlaw Owens coming in seventh with 22. Then we got Buckwild and Heather Gray rounding out the top 10, though I guess technically top nine, with 21. Moving over to assists, we got Oliver Price from Honolulu grabbing the assist trophy with 30. Uh, Good buddy of mine, Lopez from Florence, coming in second, getting 28. Then we got a three-way tie for third between two Las Vegas members, Billy Busick and Doug Britton, and the commish himself, Mr. Krieg, coming in, all tied with 27 assists. Dinabola from Las Vegas with 26. So that's three Las Vegas players in the top six for assists. They're definitely not selfish on the puck over there in Vegas. Then we got a four-way tie rounding out the top 10 between Harper, Bear, Helmsley, and Troll. Total points leaders, Cornwall and Price tied for 50 apiece for the points trophy for season 8. Congratulations to those guys. Amelia Rose, Trevor Lopez tied for third with 47. Then we got a five-way tie for fifth between Banks, Leathers, Owens, Scurvy Dog, and Voodoo. Ezra Swift rounding out the top 10 with 43. Uh, Obviously, if you lead the league in points, you lead the league in points per game. So I'm not really going to run down too much of that list because it's just a mirror of points leaders. Um, Cornwall, and Price obviously taking the lead on that.
Taking the lead on that, and thus they did. Congratulations to all those players. Like to see a lot of awards coming out from those. When it comes to our time on ice leaders, Johnny Blades was the man who held the most time on the ice with 1,000 minutes, 342 minutes, and 50 seconds. Just icing out ahead of Robert Garrett Jr., also on Jacksonville. So Jacksonville just for some reason having their defenders play the most time, most games. Um, when it came to shots on goal leader, Oniascola with 162 just lighting up the house. Grizzle Bear with 160 and Nolan Nordstrom with 159. Great display of prowess on getting the puck on net. Power play goal leaders, Racer X with 11 power play goals this season. That's pretty crazy. Victor Fleury with 10 and David Leathers with 9, as well as Oliver Price with 9. The shorthanded goals leader, I like to see this. There were 4 players, Brett Solberg, the Bob, Crichton Bucage, and Zelda McCarthy all had 2 shorthanded goals. That was kind of how you called it, Hume. You said, there's going to start off with 0, then we're going to have a whole bunch of people that got 1, and then there's going to be a handful of people that got 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, I guess a little preview for the next category, but the Bob being tied for the lead with shots on goal when he led the league in penalty minutes. So
Yeah.
when he wasn't in the box, he was scoring on the PK apparently.
Well, there
But
are the next setup there for you.
yeah, we'll start off with hits. The old goon himself, Mr. Grandpa Doug Britton, with 204. Jace Taylor coming in second with 194, and Hardaway rounding out the top three with 192. Like I said before, Bob led the league in penalty minutes with 51, which as a fellow winger, I really got to tip my hat for him to just proving that it's not just the defensemen that like to commit penalties. The forwards can too. Solberg was only a minute behind him with 50, and Billy Big Hits rounds out the top three with 49. Going over to puck possession time, at least on my screen, there seems to be a error in the sheet because the top two just have value
Hmm.
for the puck possession. Glizzy Gladiator was third though with 101.04, so I assume Bake and Kierkegaard had more than that, but I couldn't tell you what it is. So we'll go to plus minus best. No surprise, Jacksonville member Robert Garrett Jr. leading with 33. Boston's Sheeran coming in second with 30. And Blaze Henderson from Vegas coming in with 28, tied with Gaunt from Florence and Blades from Jacksonville. Three-way tie for third.
Three-way tie for third. All right, so let's talk about saves. When it came to the saves leader was Chris McBride, 1,261. A lot of saves this year or this season. Bebe Deer with 1,188. And then Arnold Stopper with 1,186. Good distribution there. Nice to see that. Save percentage leader, Mike Twinscrew saved the most goals, or at least the highest percentage of goals with a 9.13. Well, a 0.913. Then we had Gerard Brody, who's only thousandth, or maybe it's a millionth of a point away, 0.912. Amazing. And Bebe Deer holding it down with a 0.91. The shutout leaders was Chibium Lassinger with 10 shutouts this season. Then there was a two-way tie between Gerard Brody and Mike Twinscrew, who each had 8. The goals against average leader was Mike Twinscrew with 1.68, then Gerard Brody with a 1.8, Mason Stonewall with a 2.11. Wow. That's just how it fell. Hume, do you want to take our rookies? Do you have that sheet open?
Yeah, I got it open. I'll lead off with goals. Sicario finishes the season with 11. Um, Frobe coming in second with 7. Then we got a five-way tie between Sparkles, Hoekstra, Watson, and Cupid Dreams with 5 apiece. Popping on over to assists, Sicario also led the rookies in assists with 13. Um, Obviously, he's my vote for offensive rookie of the year. Winners coming in second, tied with Poseidon with 9, and then Goodman and Hoekstra tied for third with 8 apiece. No surprise if you lead the rookies in goals and you lead them in assists, you'll lead them in points. Sicario with a 11-point lead over second place with 24 points. And then second and third, actually, both from Rome, proving their prowess in the draft. Hoekstra coming in with 13 and Frobe coming in with 12. Popping over to points per 60, Sicario with 2.06 points per 60 minutes of ice time. Frobe with 1.94, and Fred Barreto from Alaska rounds out the top three with 1.77.
1.77. Excellent. All righty. So then we have ultimately that was our show. We'll be back with our playoff predictions after the second round. I'll also be putting together some of those plays of the week that have been submitted once we have a critical mass of at least 5 of them. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hume, did you have any closing thoughts or perspectives on the the postseason and goals as a whole?
Uh, just wanted to say to everybody that made it, now the real season starts. And, good luck to everybody that's in the tournament and everybody that missed. I know it sucks, but, you know, come back next year stronger. Don't let it get you down. Hopefully, we'll see a little bit of rotation in who makes it, as long as Turku's not one of those teams that fall out.
Yeah. No, they ain't. Not after I bet all that simulated money on you guys. All
Yeah,
right.
somebody's got to bring the lineup.
Yes. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. This was Rinkside.